I decided earlier this year that I'm going to be someone who goes to the gym. There are so many health benefits to exercise. I can't possibly list them all here. But I knew I wanted to get back in the gym because there was a point in my life where I worked out a lot. I was in the gym 3 to 4 times a week. I was in great shape. I looked great and I felt great. But at that time in my life, I was a single professional woman without kids. So I had a lot more time on my hands to work out. Not a lot of time because I was always working hard and I was involved in my church and in my community, but I had more time than I have now. My life has changed since then. I am a mom, I am a wife, I am a professional. I volunteer at my church in different ministries. I create content. I have a lot going on. So sometimes the gym takes the back burner. But one of the most important things I'm coming to realize in my life is that I must take care of myself. And one of the things that helped me to feel my best, both physically and mentally, is exercising. I know that I have lived it, I have experienced it. So I decided this year that I really have to prioritize taking care of myself. And one major part of that is working out. So I have been working out intermittently over the years, but the consistency part has not been the easiest with everything I have going on. So recently I was listening to an interview by James Clear, who's the author of Atomic Habits, a great book. If you haven't read it, I recommend it. I'm going to link it below. And he was talking and he said, one of the ways to build good habits and to get consistent is to basically get that habit down to the lowest common denominator and to do that thing consistently. For example, say you want to write a book and you want to develop a habit of writing, right? He said, well, one thing you can do is say, I will write one sentence every day. And if that's all you can do it and do it consistently. Now, that may sound ridiculous to some of us. You're like, one sentence? That's not going to actually lead to me writing a book in a reasonable amount of time. But usually what happens when you sit down to write that sentence, you don't only write that sentence, right? You end up writing more. You end up writing a paragraph, or you end up writing pages or chapters. The thing is to start. So I decided to apply that tactic to me getting back in the gym. The other day, I'm home and I had placed on my calendar that that particular day was going to be a gym day. I get dressed to go to the gym. I'm ready, but I really don't feel like it. And I'm saying to myself, I can always go tomorrow. And I'm saying maybe I could just do it another time, or I'm just not feeling it. But then I remember the tactic that James Clear said in the video, and I said, I'm going to go to the gym for 20 minutes because working out for 20 minutes is better than not working out at all. I wanted to work out originally for 45 minutes to an hour, but I decided I'm not really in the mood, so I'll just do 20 minutes. So I go to the gym and I decided I'm just gonna stay here for 20 minutes, but I start working out. And when I look up, I had worked out for 45 minutes, so more than twice the amount of time that I planned on working out. And then I paused and I said to myself, wow, this actually worked. Start. And even if I couldn't do more than 20 minutes, what I said was in fact true. 20 minutes of working out is better than not working out at all. Some days, if you're working on a book, you will probably only be able to write that one sentence, but that one sentence is better than a blank page. There will be other days when you sit down to write that sentence and you end up with 10 pages. You know, it ebbs and flows. That's just how life is. But the key is to start. And I'm going to encourage you to try the James Clear tactic in your life. Let me know in the comments, is there a habit that you're trying to build this year? And has it been difficult for you? Have you been experiencing difficulty with being consistent? Is there a way you can narrow that habit down to the least common denominator and do it? And the beautiful part of it is that I said this year I was going to become a person who goes to the gym. And becoming is not just a decision, becoming is actually doing the things that helps you to be the person that you want to be. It's very important for me to be someone who exercises, someone who takes care of herself, someone who prioritizes good health. And I had to sit down and think about, what habits do I need to implement in my life to become that person? And how do I become that person? Like, I really sat down and narrowed it down. And like I said, one of the ways was to work out. And then I thought, how do I become a person who works out? Of course, I have a gym membership, right? Because I've always wanted to become that person. But year by year, I wasn't that person. So I said, this year, what can I do differently? And I'm just so happy that I saw that episode, that podcast episode with James Clear, because it helped me figure out a way to become a person who not only values fitness in my mind, or not only has the knowledge, right, that exercise is very healthy and very good for you, but a person who does the action that aligns with her values. Because that's key. That's where you become a person with integrity, a person who not only says that they're going to do a thing or says that they value something, but yet their actions are different. Integrity is so important to me and so valuable to me that even though it sounded, very simple in the interview, it helped me connect the dots in the area of fitness. Now, it's easy for me to do things that I say I'm going to do in other areas of my life. But for fitness, for some reason, I knew I needed more. I needed a tactic. I needed a strategy than just sheer willpower, because some days your willpower is strong and some days it's not. So even now, there are days when I wake up and I'm like, I could only work out for 10 minutes, and I do the 10 minutes and I'm okay. There are days when I'm like, I could go for an hour and I'm good. And there are days when I'm like, I could go for 15 minutes, but then I end up going for 45 minutes. But on all those days, I am the person who goes to the gym. I am the person who works out. I may not be the person yet who works out an hour every time, but yet I am the person who is doing the movement, doing the workout. Sometimes we wait for perfect conditions, and we don't need perfect conditions. Sometimes when I think back of how many things I didn't do because the conditions weren't perfect. In other words, the conditions don't need to be perfect for you to become the person you've always wanted to be.